Hello, everyone. We are back again with another Power Packed session, and this is the fourth one in the series of Zero to Hero. Now, today's session is going to be about some basic grammar rules and the traps that are generally laid for you, which the students are not, able to understand or recognize when they see it in their papers. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to see some questions. I'll give you some time to identify the answer and everything, and then we'll discuss the answer. And usually, what happens is when such traps are basically, laid out for you, you apparently feel that the sentence is entirely grammatically correct. क्योंकि सेंटेंस में ऐसी कोई प्रॉब्लम दिखाई नहीं देती, नजर नहीं आती. तो यही चीज हमें समझनी है कि जब everything looks too good to be true, then obviously there is some fault with it. Okay. So good evening everyone. Hi Tamanna. Hi Sarthak. I hope you guys are doing well and I hope you're ready for today's session. So अच्छा रहेगा कि if you have a rough notebook or something, or if you want you can just simply click the pictures when we discuss the rules. ठीक है. So let's get started. Let's see the very first question. See, मैंने जैसे पहले बताया तुम लोग question देखोगे. I'll give you some time to answer in the chat box. Whatever you think is grammatically correct and should be the answer should be posted in the comment section. I would love this class to be interactive. जैसे कि तुम लोगों की भी opinion समझ में आए और generally तुम किस तरीके की गलतियां करते हो, that also will be understandable that way. ठीक है? So yeah, let's see the first slide. So this is your first question, and look at the underlined part and see whether there is anything wrong with it. Any answers? Arthak, the duration of the class depends on how quickly you answer. So usually these sessions are like 20-25 minutes long. Ready? All right. And most people actually chose the same answer. The municipal council can no longer wash its hands of its responsibilities. एक चीज याद रखो, the municipal council comprises of many members and hence it's taken as a plural entity. Did you know that? So this, hence it's considered plural. Now, is there anybody who would like to change their answer? क्योंकि जितने भी लोगों ने wash its hands of its choose किया, basically the sentence look grammatically pristine, perfect, but it's not. तो आंसर क्या होना चाहिए? अगर ये प्लूरल है तो प्लूरल के साथ प्लूरल ही पोजेसिव प्रोनाउन यूज होता है, राइट? तो यहाँ पे आंसर होना चाहिए वॉश देयर हैंड्स ऑफ देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज. इट्स नॉट वॉश इट्स एक्चुअली वॉश देयर. ठीक है? So this is one of the most frequently seen grammar trap, and as we can see that you also kind of got trapped into it, right? So yeah, moving to the next one. Ready? Any answers? Okay, let me first tell you that there is no expression as cope up with. It's actually cope up. Okay, sorry, cope with. So the correct expression to be used here is cope with. That automatically eliminate two of the options as you can see. अब यहाँ पे देखो एक और चीज की गलती है which is rather than. It's not rather than but rather than. Okay. ठीक है. If you look at both of these sentences, it seems quite similar to each other, but again, there is an error in parallelism. Parallelism का मतलब ये होता है कि you need to see which tense has been used. For example, if I make a sentence or frame a sentence like she likes singing, painting, and to bake. Now, this sentence is grammatically incorrect because I have used ing form of the other hobbies that I mentioned in the sentence. So, technically, it should be singing, painting, and baking. And that is how this gets eliminated क्योंकि यहाँ पे लिखा है cope with anxiety by reaching, which is ing for food rather than dealing. तो यहाँ पे डीलिंग होना चाहिए था ना कि डील. That brings me to the right answer, which is option D. Cope with anxiety by reaching for food rather than dealing with their feelings. Okay? Okay. Now, how many of you have got it right? See, it's either cope up that is correct or cope with that is correct. ठीक है? Cope up with cannot be used together. Okay, so Sarthak, I hope it's clear. Now, this is a very minute error which most people kind of ignore. Let's see who gets it right. Ready to discuss? Okay, I think it was easy to eliminate though. So, Tamanna, you've got it absolutely right. First of all, despite the company's poor performance, its chief executive has continued to receive a generous pay which far exceeds his counterparts. Now, let me tell you one thing. Are we comparing the chief executive to his counterparts, or are we comparing chief executive's pay to his counterpart's pay? ये तुम लोगों को आंसर देना है. Am I comparing the chief executive to his counterparts, or the chief executive's pay to his counterpart's pay? बताओ. Is this correct or this correct? The first one or the second one? किन दो चीजों को कंपेयर किया जा रहा है? Any answers? I hope I've made myself clear. Are we comparing a man to other men, or are we comparing a man's pay to other men's pay? The second one, exactly, Tamanna, absolutely right. We are comparing one person's pay to other person's, whereas in the sentence it's written that this man's pay has been compared to this other people, which is obviously grammatically incorrect. ठीक है? And that's why पहली बात तो ये दोनों इसलिए गलत हो जाएंगे because they are using it apostrophe s, which means it is, not its. Okay? This its is a contraction, is a short form for it is, whereas its basically means showing possession, like the company's possession in this case. ठीक है, आ गया समझ में? तो यहाँ पे बात ये हो रही है कि सबसे पहले तो ये दोनों एलिमिनेट होंगे. Answer is obviously B because it takes into account the comparison in the right way. We are comparing a man's pay with other men's pay. Okay, कैसे? Chief executive has continued to receive a generous pay which far exceeds his counterparts. ये apostrophe जो use हुआ है, basically that explains that we are comparing two people's income or more than two people's income, right? So the correct answer is B, Bombay. अगर यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं समझ में आया हो तो प्लीज लेट मी नो. ठीक है? Any answer? Okay. First of all, let me bust a myth here. We Indians, we very normally use dispose of OFF of, but it is incorrect. The correct phrasal verb is dispose OF of. So automatically that makes these two options irrelevant, isn't it? Dispose of हम बोलते हैं Indians, but as we already know that English is not really our native language, so we obviously make certain errors, and this is one of those. ठीक है? Then as you can see, this particular verb, provided, do you get an answer as to what is being provided? तो हमें पता चलता है कि yes, we do get to know that it's the steady carbon free power that is being provided. So we do have an answer for that. But who is providing that? Okay, who is providing that? It's the nuclear plants. But यहाँ पे it's unclear that who is providing these steady carbon free power. तो बात यहाँ पे ये है कि the subject should have a pronoun in the subordinate clause. इस न्यूक्लियर प्लांट का यहाँ पे कोई ना कोई प्रोनाउन होना चाहिए. So that means here we are talking about plural. So automatically the best pronoun to use is they. So if you look at option B, which is also the correct answer, of nuclear waste remains a concern. Nuclear plants are often subsidized because of the steady carbon-free power they provide. Who's this they here? It's basically the nuclear plants और उनका mention यहाँ पे होता है. So this brings us to the right answer, which is option B. तो तुम लोगों को अब समझ में आ रहा है the kind of mistakes that we make when it comes to grammar? They are very minute mistakes. Most of the times they do not even look like mistakes. But yeah, now you know better. So here you basically have to find an error of grammar or idiom in all the parts that are given. See which of the parts contain error. Where do you find the errors in this statement? You're basically supposed to pick out the pair that has errors. Any answers? I did not get your question, Akshat. Tamanna, you are partially correct. Okay, let's see. So first of all, this is supported by data from, तो ये तो जो statement है, it's fixed. It does not really have any such error. It's correct grammatically. But if you look at the second one, which is option A, the humane society which points that programs. So let me tell you one thing. Points का मतलब होता है simply to direct. Okay? But here we are trying to basically grab attention towards a problem. So points alone is not really sufficient. It has to be points out. So the first error is in option A. Okay? तो यहाँ पे होना चाहिए था points out. To draw attention. Hmm. Then, that attempt to use lethal control to eliminate cat populations are inhumane, ineffective, and wasteful of scarcity resources. Resources is a noun, and scarcity is also a noun. And two nouns do not usually come back to back. If there is a noun, it has to have an adjective. So, in order to make it into an adjective, it should be scarce. So the errors lie in option A and D. B is the correct answer. ठीक है? समझ में आया? Scarce resources, not scarcity resources. Answer is B, Bombay. The good thing is you only are supposed to find an error in one of the options. So let's see. Let's see. There was ample evidence of the last few months that the highest court is in a state of ferment. The question is, okay, question पूछा गया है and then two things are being given to highlight that question. Is either it could have been handled internally rather than either and or they are considered a pair. Okay, either and rather than is not considered a pair, first of all. So either will be replaced by whether because we are asking a question whether it could have been handled internally rather than be dragged into the open. So the correct answer is option C. How many of you got this one right? Anirudh, even I have no idea as of now, but I'll definitely ask somebody who knows about it and we'll try to tell you in the next session. Okay? So is there anybody who's got it right, who thought on the similar, like I would say on similar lines when it came to this question? What should be the correct answer here? This is a subject verb agreement question, first of all. And let me tell you one thing. So, data is usually correct, I would say, considered to be plural. But when we are talking about two-thirds of the data, this is a singular mass. ऐसे बहुत सारे कॉन्टेक्स्ट होते हैं जहाँ पे डेटा जो है उसे अनकाउंटेबल सिंगुलर कहा जाता है and that is one of those contexts that we are talking about. So two-thirds of the data was corrupted during the transfer. That's the correct answer. Any answers? Okay, let's see. So, not only dash the students, but also the teacher was surprised. First of all, not only, but also is a correlative conjunction pair, and together it is considered a compound subject. But remember, यहाँ पे the students is basically our main subject. So, accordingly, we have to use the verb. Subject verb agreement. The subject should agree with the verb. So, यहाँ पे students is plural. That brings me to the right answer, which is were. I think most people have got this right. Very good, Akshat. Lovely. So, not only were the students, but also the teacher was surprised by the sudden announcement. B is the right answer. Okay. So I think most people are of the opinion that it should be she's more efficient than him, right? Remember one thing. She is. Here, is an elliptical verb. That means is absent in this case. And that is why we are supposed to use a pronoun which can take is with it. ठीक है? I cannot simply say she is more efficient than him is. Can it? Can it be the right answer then? यहाँ पे अगर she is है तो क्या मैं यहाँ पे him is use कर सकती हूँ? No. Although in I think general English and the English that we usually use, we are more familiar and comfortable with using she's more efficient than him. But grammatically, it should actually be she is more efficient than he is. So this is the correct answer, not A. जब भी आपको comparison दिख रहा हो between two subjects, always remember to take the personal pronouns. Personal pronouns में he, she, it, they, I, you ये सब आता है. Okay, for example, if you ask the question who's home, generally people give the answer it's me, but this is incorrect. Who is है तो आंसर में भी helping verb लाना पड़ेगा. So technically it should be it is I, because I के बाद हम am लगा सकते हैं. ठीक है, but although we do not formally speak like that, we usually use the version that is more familiar and more comfortable to us. ठीक है. And the last question for the day. Now, this is a subject verb agreement rule, by the way. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. Whenever there is an either or pair, the subject, sorry, the verb agrees with the subject nearest to it. So, according to this rule, what do you think should be the answer? Which one of the subjects is closer to the verb? Is it the manager or the assistants? The manager or the assistants? यहाँ verb आएगा. So which one is closest to the verb? What should be the answer? Either the manager or the assistants, which is plural. That is closest to the verb, जो हम डालने वाले हैं यहाँ पे. Right? Answer is are. The assistants plural है. Verb assistants के closest है. So automatically we'll be using a plural verb. Always remember either or. The verb agrees with the second subject or the subject which is closest to it. Okay? And that brings me to the end of today's session. I hope you have learned something new. You have gained some perspective, some insights as to how to solve certain grammar questions. And I hope you apply them. And until then, of course, we are going to meet soon. But until then, it's a goodbye. And keep prepping and happy learning. Bye bye.